choice.
Oh,
Got myself a calzone and some fries and ate it in the car like a shamefaced whore.
What, just on your way here?
No, I got in the driveway, turned the light on so I could open everything, then turned it off so he wouldn't see me, and then...
Ate it.
Yes.
I wasn't really looking all that hard either.
Why didn't I just come in? I don't know, because I'm meat.
You don't go into houses to eat food. This is...
Well, he does, but...
This goes without saying.
He does, but his food is never as shameful as mine.
Shameful
Oh,
food.
it's pretty shameful.
What did you get? The People's Choice
It was
Gutbuster Supreme?
No, it was a personal calzone with grilled chicken.
And by personal, I mean...
babies.
By personal calzone, I mean large pizza. that I folded in half.
Filled with curly fries.
Oh God! They won't even let you order that from the store. You had to order 2 menu items and make it yourself.
I had to order 2 menu items from 2 different people's choice. Go to both locations.
I could never go to either one
Because they
again.
must not know my shame.
It gives me 2 buckets of curly fries. You're not going to put this in a pizza fold in half, are you?
Sir, I don't know what you're talking about. As you hold the pizza box up in front of you.
And create it in front of him.
I can never come back here again.
List of places I'm no longer allowed to be. Everywhere.
Everywhere.
It serves pizza, at least.
Well, that's the last of the restaurants in my area. I guess it's time to move again. Christ. What a week we've got in front of us. I got all these drawings of penises in my inbox and... Fuck you, Steve.
Did you get other submissions?
So many
yeah.
penises. Everywhere.
From all of our friends.
All over the place. Everybody except for Mikey. Mikey didn't want to draw a dick, and more power to him. But
I'm just going to draw dicks on whatever he sends us next week.
that's true.
Speaking of which, we should think of what they're going to send us next
big
week.
slap honking dicks. Actually, I had an idea, and I have since forgotten it.
Good.
Which could just very well be the name of everything that I produce.
It's going to be your memoir, the one that you never finish. There's no joke there.
There's no joke. Yeah, that's not a joke.
You just can't finish anything you start.
All right, I'm sick as a dog. Ryan is fighting off his hangover from yesterday.
I'm fine.
Kyle's fine. You better believe this. This is the motherfucking Hell of Breakfast show.
Yep. From 2 beers, but at the same time I'm going to claim I was drunk from those 2 beers because I can remember the shit I said about the divas.
I can't, which I'm going to count as a good thing. I'm going to say that was Survivor Series was the main event was pretty good.
It was enjoyable.
The rest of it might as well have been on SmackDown.
I mean...
It wasn't even Raw quality.
It was color-coded for SmackDown. It was blue most of the time.
I will say, though, number one, you got Miz and Mizdow winning the belts, which I liked.
That was cool.
That was a strong result.
I thought, honestly...
Yeah, that was strong result. Poor match quality.
Regardless of what you think about the Wyatt-Ambrose feud, I thought their match was very good last night.
Yeah. Let's hold on to this for the wrestling segment because we got some things to get through.
Yeah, because
we got a lot to talk about
in.
About Survivor Series. A lot happened, and we want to address some things. We're going to have some speculation as well. Before we do
rampant speculation. Before
we do the thing, now that we are on iTunes and actually easily searchable and findable, and people are downloading the show and listening to it, I feel like we need to get better into the habit of saying just who the fuck we are. So I'm your host Brendan. Across from me, I have Ryan, and say your name and rank.
Ryan, first captain.
Sitting next to me, the ever-present Mr. Kyle.
I'm Kyle. I'm first Captain Prime.
Yeah!
The rock upon which we will build our church.
I want to be the Doctor. I watched a lot of Star Trek this week.
Good.
Yeah, good. Did you shit in a bowl and say make it so?
No, I also forgot to do that.
Oh, you're in shambles.
All right, serious.
You are a shambles.
Serious business time. I have all the shambles in here. We're on iTunes, and we have an RSS feed now, so you can search for the Health to Breakfast Show on your favorite podcast app, and there's a 99.9% chance it'll show up. If it doesn't, drop us a line at helltopodcast@gmail.com, and we'll see what we can do about that.
Or just go to our website on Libsyn and just get the RSS feed link there.
Or do that too, if you want to be
That's awfully technical.
You can also direct all of your questions, comments, and concerns to helltopodcast@gmail.com. You can send whatever the fuck you want there because Ryan takes care of it and I don't have to worry about it. Don't forget to patronize us on the Patreon. Thanks to all our Patreon patrons that patronize us on the Patreon. I think I fucked up that tongue twister this week, but I don't really care.
That's all right.
I'm just trying to get through this. Don't forget to check us out on social media: the Twitter, the Facebook, the Tumblr. Search for Hell to Breakfast. Google it.
If you get that weird Italian synth band, you've gone too far.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Or not far enough. I can't remember where we could pop up in the Google search.
We're first. We're A1 Prime first.
Okay.
You type in Hell to Breakfast. That's us.
Fuck you, Italy.
Yeah.
And the bands.
Shots fired, Italy. Come at me, bro. Also, lastly but certainly not leastly, I'm not going to make any goddamn sense today. Thank you to Mike Rasmus, the enigmatic M. Roosevelt, for producing and writing and performing our hype-ass theme music. All right, let's talk about the hit list from last week. Ryan.
What's up?
How's that French comic?
Did you finish it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's
Frenchy French stuff.
Snowpiercer, for those who aren't parsing that non-existent word out of your sentences.
No, I've decided to go full nonsense today.
Good, grand.
Yeah.
So 2 big hardcover volumes showed up at my house. Both of them said Snowpiercer across the front.
Hang on. Kyle's got the banquet beer.
I do. You got a problem with that?
I don't have a single problem with the banquet beer.
I look at that and I say to myself, that's a beer made only for breakfast.
No, it's for banquets.
It's for breakfast.
It's Adolf Coors' banquet beer. All right, talk about your French comics. Paint me like one of your French comics.
Really not good.
Yeah?
Like, I was shocked, because I only picked this up because we really enjoyed the movie.
I remember when you opened it, I looked at the first page.
Oh, God.
You showed me the hardcover this last week, right before we recorded the show, and I just looked at the first page, and the first, NPC soldier mook that shows up. I'm like, oh my god, his face looks like it was drawn by a Frenchman so hard.
It's
that
really
comic
hard
is
to
so
describe.
goddamn European.
It looks like a Frenchman drew the characters from Les Miserables, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, that really uniquely... I want to make someone look both scruffy and really European.
Everybody's nose has been broken 6 times, or you would gather by looking at that art.
And twice the size of a human nose, just like the French.
Eyes really close set in the middle, very heavy scruff of beard.
Now, the main characters don't look like that. They're more attractive, like the French like to think they are.
It's really funny because it's a level of...
Riff on all of Europe today.
Jesus Christ.
It's a level of exaggeration of features that is on par with, anime style, manga style characters, but instead of giant eyes and tiny other features, it's giant noses and tiny other features.
It's a cross between that. It also very much looks like it would have run in... We don't even really have them that much anymore, but those old science fiction magazines where you get 4 or 5 pages of this comic a month.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was shocked on reading it to find out just how much original content the film came up with.
Really?
Every single character, the entirety of the plot, everything that the train looks like, pretty much everything but the name and the general concept of why the train is there.
Okay.
Volume 1 ends with Snowpiercer being completely depopulated by a plague brought up from the tail section. You don't actually spend any time in the tail section whatsoever. It's the main character escapes from the tail section in the beginning and makes his way all the way to the front of the train where there's no enigmatic train maker. It's just one crazy fuck who tells him the engines feel the need to be occupied. And then Volume 2 starts up and says, "The Snowpiercer, one of the most amazing achievements of mankind, and they never knew we were here. Snowpiercer 2. Icebreaker."
Jesus Christ.
Get the fuck out of here.
No! And it has planes that it launches.
So not recommended is what you're saying.
Absolutely not. It's got one of those big problems of the old science fiction where it was getting by on the strength of its concept. The plot is really segmented.
When was it made? When was it
made? 70s. 70s,
really?
70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, if anyone wants to look at it, look up images of it online. I seriously don't recommend it.
Wants to look at it, go to France, ask anyone at any cafe to draw you a picture of an apocalyptic train. Everyone in France is an artist. Everyone.
I believe.
They all have baguettes that they fill with cigarettes. And they break the baguettes in half, and they take their cigarettes out and smoke them. And oh man, I'm going straight to hell. All right, tell us about Station 11.
I talked already more than I thought I would about Snowpiercer, so I'm just gonna breeze by this one. I'm about halfway through this novel. It's pretty good, but the way I would describe it is, you know how some people describe some films as Oscar bait?
Yes.
This is an Oscar bait, but a book.
Okay.
It is one of those where everything is perfectly targeted to hit just the right heartstrings, and I feel like I'm being played every page I read. So I'm going to finish it. I do like the characters. It is very well written, but I can't think of any hook to it to recommend to any of our listeners.
All right.
So move past that one as far as I'm concerned.
So your next book is Mick Foley's book, right?
No, I have a comic this week. Then I'll read Mick Foley's book for you.
Okay. I guess that puts me on the wire for that one, too. So you're ahead of me on Professor Layton games now. I have not played Professor Layton in the Miracle Mask.
And I never played Professor Layton in the Spectre's Flute.
Yeah.
So we're tied. I know the actual plot of the game.
Spectre's Flute's the one where he fights a Loch Ness Monster.
Here's the thing.
I'm not kidding about that. That shit is...
I liked this game quite a bit. But here's the thing. It is really hard to fuck up a Layton game.
Oh, yeah.
Because I can honestly say I hate everything they added to this game that is different than the old games.
Oh.
But you
block
can't...
puzzles, bro. Do more of them.
No, see, that's the two things.
Oh, fucking block puzzles.
Two things. One, there's an extended sequence around the second third of the game where you play as top-down Layton moving around a dungeon doing 3 types of puzzles. One of which is evade the enemies, and they move 1 square for each square you move. One is sliding block puzzles like you'd find in any Pokemon dungeon.
Interesting. And
I honestly, I've forgotten what the third one was. It's something like connecting wires.
I feel like I've talked about this before, not on the podcast, but with you. Do you ever get the feeling in those games, like, whenever Luke has to solve a puzzle in a Professor Layton game, I'll try it as many times as I want, and I really don't give a shit about losing the Pickerats, but whenever Layton has to solve a puzzle, I'm all of a sudden put in this really high-pressure situation where I just feel like it's out of character for the professor to fail a puzzle. Like, I don't want him to fuck up because I feel like he looks bad to everybody. Like, he's a fucking fraud. Like, this is your claim to fame, dude. Be good at it.
I felt that in all of the old games.
Yeah.
I didn't feel it in this one, and that kind of brings me to one of the 2 main points I want to hit.
Yeah.
The other thing I hate that they added to this game, fucking 3D models. I understand why the 3DS does this. I do.
Jesus. 90% of the appeal of that was the art
The
style.
backgrounds still look beautiful.
Yeah.
And the 3D is really good. Like, they execute it really well. But the 3D character models just look weird. Sprites were so much better. They did it in Phoenix Wright. Sprites look so much better. They did it in Pokemon. It's the big reason I didn't buy that game. Sprites look so much better.
That's why
you can't make sprites 3D.
The same principle was with Monkey Island games. Curse of Monkey Island, which is the third one, was all they made the leap from the old pixel art of the first 2, and they did like beautifully hand drawn everything, and it was amazing. I freaking love that game. But then the next Monkey Island game came out, and I think it was Escape from Monkey Island was the name of it, and they did it in 3D. And again, there was the same level of attention that went into the detail of the environments and everything, and the character designs, but it just didn't look as good in 3D. Like, the hand-drawn sprites and stuff that always look better, because they just feel like there's a whole other level of an entirely different level. I hate it when I say whole nother, make me sound like an idiot. But
delicious nuthers.
I love those nuthers.
The one other thing I want to say, because it's a general comment on all of the Layton games, but it's getting more aggressive as I play more of them. Right after you read the description of a Layton game, your next step is to check for bullshit. Immediate. It's, alright, I am going into every puzzle with the assumption Layton is lying to me, or the puzzle is lying to me.
They all try to trick you.
The one example I want to give, and it's so consistent now that it allows me to accurately guess answers, is there's a puzzle in the game called the Ace of Diamonds. And there are 3 swords on a wall in profile. And says, one of these is the legendary sword Ace of Diamonds, and every enemy who's ever faced it on the battlefield knows why it's called that. So I looked at the 3 swords. That one's got a diamond in its hilt. That one's got a diamond on its crossguard. That one has no diamonds. That is the right answer. I don't know why. I don't care why.
Just is.
It's because when you turn the sword to point at you, the blade forms a diamond. Couldn't bother to care. It took me 5 seconds to solve that puzzle.
Yeah.
But I didn't solve it. That's a problem.
No, exactly. You solved the game's puzzle, not the actual puzzle.
And it's only getting easier. I guessed the twist in this game.
Oh.
That should be impossible in a Layton game.
It really should, because they're always out of nowhere.
Yeah, let me just spoil the first one. The twist to the first Layton game is everyone you meet is clockwork robots. Just out of nowhere.
The twist to the third
one
is...
I didn't want to spoil that one.
The twist to the third one is they didn't actually travel forward in time. Some madman started to portray a future version of Professor Layton's teenage apprentice and used his power and resources to build a complete replica, full scale of London underneath the actual city of London.
Including Londoners.
Yes.
It was like a troupe of paid actors.
Yeah.
How? I don't know. All money.
And then he had the giant fuck-off spider from Wild Wild West. Also for reasons.
Basically what it comes down to is a motherfucker who got completely outwitted by a guy in a top hat who solves Sudoku puzzles.
For a living,
has
by
all
the way.
money. That's one of the things I like about this game is it reveals why Layton has a fascination with puzzles and archaeology.
It's
deep, crippling guilt.
Guilt.
Deep, crippling
Sudoku
guilt.
killed my father.
No, you meet his mother and father. They're boring.
Oh.
They
don't solve puzzles? It's not like meeting Sean Connery in Indiana Jones.
No, it's like they're super bland characters.
Yo, fun fact, I've never actually seen the whole Last Crusade.
Oh, really?
I've seen like the first 20 minutes of that movie and I've never seen past it.
But
it's a thing we should do.
We absolutely should. But like I said way back at the beginning of this mini rant that I did not intend to go on.
Skull. No, we won't.
You can't fuck up a Layton game.
No,
do you like solving puzzles? The game delivers on puzzles.
Do you like accordion music? It's there.
It really is. It's accordion with like a circus theme. I like it.
Let's talk about Kyle's bullshit.
What's my bullshit?
You had Fables, first 3 volumes?
I did. I finished the first 3 volumes of Fables.
Don't say too much about that right now because that's our comics segment tonight.
Okay.
But did you enjoy it?
I did. Certainly enjoyed it.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to talking about that. Bayonetta 2, you did any more of that?
I did not play any Bayonetta 2 this week.
Fuck that noise.
That's alright. Replacing something else on our list.
Law and Order Metroid Prime 2 unit.
Yeah, well,
tell this story.
Fucking, I wanted to go home. From the podcast, I'm like, I'm gonna watch an episode of Law and Order to start on my hit list. So I go there, and it's just like I go to Netflix. It's just like it's not there. Mm-hmm. They took Law and Order off. Now the only thing left is SVU.
Nobody wants that.
And I don't want that.
You can pay for it in Untraceable Cyberbucks.
So I said, fuck it. And then I put Metroid Prime 2 in my Wii and started playing it.
But you could have watched the season where they bring in Stabler's new blonde detective friend because they figured it'd be too weird if he fucked Benson.
It's like
just fuck the blonde one.
It's like season 10. I found this video the other day, and seriously, it made me laugh my ass off because Ryan and I had this thing with Law and Order Criminal Intent where we figured out Detective Gorin's detecting style, and it was he just paws through your shit until you get so uncomfortable that you confess to murder. It's just like sit down at your desk and start opening your drawers and being like, these look like love letters. And I'm like, well, yeah, those are from my high school girlfriend. I really just want to keep. Wow, she's saying some really embarrassing stuff here. I guess I'll read it out loud to my partner if you don't mind. Okay, fine. I did it. But. SVU. I was happy with myself because I finally figured out how the SVU detectives solve crimes, and it's Benson comes in and guilts you until you betray your professional ethics, and then after your shit hits the fan, Stabler comes to your house, punches holes in your walls, and says, "He was your son."
Wow, you guys have watched a lot of Law and Order.
The man wouldn't take USA off the TV while we lived together.
So then I went on YouTube and I found a 3-minute compilation video called 12 Seasons of Stabler Being a Dick. And it's pretty good. It's about all you need to know about Law and Order. Tell me more about
Alright, so did you play Metroid Prime 1?
Yes.
How extensively did you play that game?
Oh, it was a long time ago.
Did you beat it?
I did not beat it. I don't remember how far I got into it either, though. The only one of the Prime games that I've beaten is Corruption.
Really? How was that, actually?
I love Corruption. Corruption's great.
Well, so I started playing 2, and it's like, you remember, it's like in the first game, in the first Metroid Prime, it was pretty much Super Metroid.
Yeah.
Just in 3 dimensions.
Yep.
If I had to compare Metroid Prime 2 to a game, it would almost be Fusion for GBA. Because it's like, in the first Metroid Prime, I almost felt like, I'm exploring these ruins. Uh-huh. I'm finding everything.
Yeah.
and just through my exploration, I'm discovering where to go. 2 is a little bit more obvious and, hey, go here and do thing.
Well,
I tend to appreciate that more.
That is
I mean,
right.
but here's the thing, like, you know, for example, you discover at the beginning, it's just like, you know, there's a light in a dark world, because Nintendo was all about that shit back in the GameCube era.
Oh, yeah, we love the dark world.
And still, there's Light and Dark Pit and Kid Icarus Uprising.
Yeah,
there's Light and Dark World.
I don't know about that, though.
All right, fair enough.
As well.
So you discover it's just like, oh, I'm in the light world. It's just like we need to bring like some power source back to the light world from the dark world.
Okay.
And it's just like, so you need to go to the dark world and you need to unlock the temple, the equivalent temple in the dark world, and that's where your objective is. But it's like, but first you must find these 3 keys to unlock it strewn about that area. And I'm like, you're making it a little obvious exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. One of the reasons I love Metroid, like Super Metroid and Metroid Prime, is because you feel like, you know, I am exploring this area and finding the objective on my own.
See, that's the interesting thing to me, because I hate that. I hate that
Really?
so much.
Really?
The only game I can ever think of that I've ever played where exploration was an appeal to me was the little bit of Minecraft I played. It's why I cannot stand the early Final Fantasy games until like I can't stand my first playthrough of any of those games. I never know where to go. I just like the battles.
It's one of those things though where it's like Super Metroid is designed in such a way that it's just like it's very good about keeping you constrained to where you're supposed to go, but not making it feel like you are.
Yeah, I like games.
Like it's one of those things where it's like you start out in Super Metroid, and it's like, you know, well, there's only one door I can access from this main room. There's 2 others, but either it's too high of a ledge for me to reach, or it's across something I can't get across. So it's like, okay, I'll check that out later. You go into the next area. It's like, you know, there's one clear path. You can go there now, but there's all sorts of shit all around you where you can go once you find another power. However, in the case of Super Metroid, people sequence break that shit all the time. Yeah. But I don't know. That appeals to me in a game. Is just like, you know, at least make me feel like I'm exploring this planet on my own.
I'm looking forward to playing those when I finally get the chance to.
That said,
snag that.
This is still a really minor gripe with Metroid Prime 2. I still think it's awesome.
Oh yeah,
like this is all just minor stuff. It's just how I prefer my Metroid game to be, but it's still awesome.
So to rush through all of my nonsense, because I actually a lot of my stuff is going to be continuing. I got to level 70 with my Seasons character for Diablo, and
did you ever say what class you were doing?
I was Demon Hunter.
Oh, okay.
I'm just always Demon Hunter. It's easier that way. But you unlock the transmogs for the legendary their season transmogs, the Conqueror armor, and you get the helmet and the shoulders for hitting level 70 with the character. And I was looking to see if you could get possibly the whole set in one season. Seems like that's not the case. Seems like every season is going to have...
Are the transmogs at least badass?
Oh yeah, they're fucking cool.
Okay.
I actually did some art that I'm going to show you guys later that shows that off a little bit.
But we're talking that's how they get you?
I don't know if that's how they get you. The attraction for Seasons for most people is it brings a competitive element to the game that was not there before, and it's essentially it is taking the place of that ladders had in Diablo 2.
Okay.
So you know you can be better ranked based on your Paragon level and based on like the first 1,000 players to earn certain achievements or to hit level 70 in each class get certain honors on the they don't call it a ladder, but it's the ladder. So yeah, it's bringing that competitive multiplayer element into Diablo Diablo 3 that wasn't there, and that's not something that really attracts me. Nope. I'm in it for the transmogs. That's what I'm here for.
I get. Well, you're there for the art. I mean, some of the people are there for the battles.
The other thing that's cool is that when the season ends, your season character does not get deleted. It gets your season's characters and all the gold and items you accrued during that season get merged into your non-season account.
So your single player account, or not single,
your
main account.
Your main account.
So
wait, does that mean that every time you participate in a season, you get an extra character slot, or do you have to vote to overwrite?
You got to vote to overwrite. Or no, sorry, your season's characters take up character slots, so you can't make too many.
Can't make one to begin with without. Okay, I was just curious about that.
No,
what was that?
I started watching Star Trek, the original series. I'm only like 10 episodes into the first season, and
that is almost half a day's worth of effort.
Yeah, it's well, I'm going to give it a shot, and I'm enjoying it from almost a satirical standpoint. I don't think I've really gotten to any of the really good episodes yet, with the one exception perhaps being the Naked Time, which is the one where Sulu chases everybody around the ship with a sword.
Everybody does love that one.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I gotta love with you. I'm not gonna have anything to talk to you about till you hit DS9. So
I'm just going to for this week. All I could say is that I'm still watching it and I'm enjoying it. It is something that made me. I thought of this today though because this is really my first major experience with the original series beyond like the real highlight episodes. Mm-hmm. And it reminded me of the Star Wars punishment. Do you guys remember that?
Not at all.
This was something that a friend of ours told me about in high school, and the Star Wars punishment essentially is based on the idea that nostalgia carries half of our appreciation of things that we like. So the Star Wars punishment is to wipe every piece of knowledge of Star Wars out of your mind, with the exception of the fact that you know that all of your friends really like it, and then you get to sit down and watch Star Wars now, like for the first time. All the way through, and it's like, and without that nostalgia filter on for yourself, how well can you really enjoy that sort of programming anymore? So,
no, yeah, I go through that all the time.
Yeah,
because I always watch shows about 10 years after they end.
Well, that's how I'm feeling with this. In a lot of cases, like for Star Trek, our original series, for the most part, I really do not have a lot of nostalgic feelings. So it's kind of funny to watch these things raw, and cringe a little bit from time to time. But
they sure were a little racist back then.
A little bit. More sexist than racist.
What was the one line from Futurama? It was Star Trek, 71 episodes, about 30
good ones.
Good.
Yeah. The other thing I did was I started reading Baltimore, written by Mike Mignola and drawn by a gentleman whose name escapes me at the moment. But I read the first volume of Baltimore, and it's a story about a vampire hunter in World War I times. It's decent for the most part. I was actually a little bit bored by it. It was Mike Mignola written, but not Mike Mignola art,
which is a deal breaker.
Which is not,
or does it?
It's not a deal breaker. I like the stories that Mike Mignola tells, but in this case, it was really a lot of rather dry exposition, just kind of juxtaposed on top of vampire fights.
I'm gonna ask you a stupid question. How's his gear?
His gear?
His gear.
He's got a lot of, like, cutlasses and shit.
Nothing really neat?
He's got a harpoon.
Like, compare him to Van Helsing.
Oh, he's no Van Helsing. He's more like a whaler that hunts vampires. He's got a peg leg. It's
yeah,
cool.
I'll take your word for it. I'm not going to pick it up, though.
I'll probably read the second volume. But
like, I think of the cool vampire hunters. We never talked about him and never shall, but Vampire Hunter D, for example. I like vampire hunters who have a big arsenal.
Yeah.
Neat shit.
He's got a big arsenal, but it's mostly...
You like Simon Belmont.
I do!
Mostly turn-of-the-century swords and stuff like that.
Especially when he became a mage for some reason.
All right.
When did that happen?
Or no, he started getting magic. His descendants did. He fucked some wizards. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, of course.
Always fuck wizards.
That can't be our episode title.
Always fuck wizards.
Now someone's gonna come up to us, some Castlevania is like, you know the Castlevania lore, bro.
No, I don't. I truly don't.
Now sit down and take your medicine.
I have a whip, though. I think I can work through it with you. With you here to help me.
Oh, okay, gentlemen. We all sat down and watched a big ol' hankin' honkin' wrestling last night.
We did.
Oh, let's talk about Survivor Series.
We also watched it with a bunch of people that don't watch wrestling.
Yes, we did.
And we were having to explain the whole concept of the kayfabe. And, oh, man.
So starting at the top of the card, Cesaro's hairy legs.
They're very hairy.
They are very hairy.
Starting at the real top of the card, though, John Cena is the worst friend that any guy could ask for.
Yeah, dude. He fucking gets eliminated. Dolph Ziggler clears goddamn house, and he's the man. And fucking who comes out from the back after they could have used him in the match? Fucking John Cena.
There he is.
Can't have a big moment without John Cena there.
Joking John. Oh.
I'm still convinced. Like this is playing way too well into an eventual John Cena heel turn.
It's
just too perfect.
This was
but it's not going to be the heel turn you wanted to be.
This was a conspiracy theory that I learned about last night that I was not previously aware of, and I think is hilarious. That John Cena is the real man in charge of the WWE, and that even Vince answers to John Cena.
Yeah,
like John's pulling the string.
Yeah. No, why do you think Why do you think during that segment with Vince McMahon, he was saying, the authority will lose their jobs, but there'll be one man who can bring you back to your former position of power, and it's John Cena. Why? That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, because Cena was the one running the other team. I have to assume that was the idea they were going with. But yes, I will add this to the latest entry in the list of John Cena heel turns that would be cool but aren't actually going to happen because reasons, and it is John Cena finds corporate life too stressful and becomes a heel.
Oh my god, it's Dark Cena!
Want to know what my theory is? I think they are gearing up. They will turn Cena heel as soon as his merch sales fall behind someone else.
Yeah, they're going to turn, pay to play as soon as that happens too.
Dark Cena.
There's a number somewhere, I believe you, but the time it takes for that lever to get pulled.
Omega Cena. Bum, 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 bum.
So do we have
work in the fucking Inception?
Do we have anything to talk about that isn't main event?
Sting. Well, no.
That was main event.
No, pretty much the rest of it's like. Because honestly, the main event was the only thing worth showing up for that PPV for. The Mizdow victory in that match was worth it with the Miz holding both belts.
Yep.
That was great. That match was not very good. And the rest of that
night was fine. It wasn't bad.
All I can say is the rest of that night can really be summed up to the fact that Slater Gator fought a bunny.
Oh, right, that happened, didn't it?
It wasn't even an episode of Raw that you paid for. It was an episode of SmackDown.
God, and know what I heard? And this is bullshit. The Nikki Bella AJ match was supposed to be longer.
Uh-huh.
They told them that day that they had to keep it to 20 seconds.
Yikes.
And it's just like, and it's one of those things where it's just like, really? You couldn't cut fucking Adam Rose and Slater Gator short to have an actual match?
Or entirely? I mean, granted, we would have missed out on that cataclysmic Adam Rose character development. Consequences will never be the same.
Man, fuck Adam Rose. He was funny in NXT. He's just shit on Raw.
Yeah, no,
I don't think he's done one good thing since coming to Raw.
No, not really.
Yeah. I'm fairly sure that he's done a lot of good shilling.
Yeah, he did do that Twisted Tea commercial.
And he did do the one for that weird mirror movie that WWE funded. Oculus.
Oh, right. And they showed like the mirror
was Adam Rose in a suit.
Rose, and he was in a suit.
Which wasn't what that mirror did.
What was the thing they were shilling a few weeks ago? Where was it See No Evil 2 starring Kane?
Yeah.
Where it was just Dean Ambrose on the couch backstage with popcorn just watching See No Evil 2?
Right.
Do you remember this week when
Dean Ambrose is just the kind of guy that'll just watch a movie backstage.
Do you guys remember this week when it was Jingle All the Way 2 starring Larry the Cable Guy and Sid?
Oh God, we have to see that.
Let's talk about the Stinger. Okay. Let's talk about the motherfucking Stinger because that's what the people want to hear about. Sting made his WWE debut last night,
and I don't care.
I'm gonna make you care.
Sting is the best.
No, I need to make this point clear right now.
You gotta learn the lore, bro.
No, fuck you. This is the exact same thing that happened when when Jericho came back.
Yeah.
And you were hype as fuck, and I said, I don't care. And he has to make me care right now.
But here's why you have to care about Sting. And it is simple.
Okay.
And I feel if I can't appeal to you with this, that nothing is going to work. He's just the Crow. But he's a wrestler.
Hang on, let me get my license. I want to see if I'm 13.
You and I both watched all those Crow movies.
That's true. And we never watched things that we don't like. I love Gibbs and NCIS. And Proby and that other fuck and the white guy. You know the one.
USA, white guys welcome.
No, Sting's return was absolutely a God, I hope you're like 25 and were watching wrestling when you were a kid. Because otherwise, that was just who's that guy, daddy?
It was for the old guy fans. Yeah. It definitely was.
Yeah.
But still, it's a monumental thing.
Hey, guess what? They're trying to build up subscriber numbers. You know how they do that? With someone to appeal to the person who has the money.
Holy shit, Dad, did you see that? Kiss just killed a referee.
Star Child.
Oh, goody. Another reference no one will get.
Oh, but if they do. All right.
Poor you.
So the Authority lost, though.
Yep.
Which is the thing. And if anybody's not aware, the stipulation was if Team Authority did not beat Team Cena, they would be removed from power.
And we found out what that meant today.
I did enjoy Stephanie McMahon's tantrum in the ring.
It's not ogre. It's never ogre.
This is my swamp.
How could you and your tag team wrestling destroy me and all of my beautiful wickedness?
You know, it's really it's really kind of funny because while Stephanie was going on that fucking Shrek rampage, Triple H was pretty much just standing in the ring going, "I like that boulder. That's a nice boulder."
I'd say I was pissed.
We need more Shrek on this podcast.
Shut up. I was pissing pretty heavily on Survivor Series as it was going on. I do have to say, Dolph Ziggler, that was an amazing push.
I think Dolph Ziggler, I think this is going to be his big push.
I can't imagine a bigger push.
I think he's main event. He is definitely singles main event picture now.
Yeah, I agree. The other thing is
find him someone to fight.
You know what it is? It's that match. They put him over super hard. That match.
That main event saved that pay-per-view. It made the whole thing worth watching, because if that main event hadn't hit...
It was just a Raw.
First of all, it was 40 minutes long. That was a 40-minute main event.
Yeah.
And it had Sting, it had shenanigans out the asshole.
Yep.
There were so many good shenanigans. Big Show turns against Team Cena in a move that surprised literally no one.
Surprised me.
Oh. Shouldn't have.
No, because
he turns all the time.
He does.
I suppose. Well, the past 2 weeks we've been saying shit like, why is Big Show on Team Cena? It doesn't make any sense. Not one of you said he's probably going to turn on Cena in the match.
That's a good point.
No, that's fair.
That crops up to us having zero faith in the writing staff. So it just turns out they were going back to the old well as opposed to being completely clueless, which is a step in the right direction.
Yes, thank God they're going back to the old well. Sting came back!
Sting!
They went and found a well they didn't even know had water in it.
Stinger!
It was a well on someone else's property.
And he did the scorpion death drop
which
and everything.
Which is the best goddamn name for a move I have ever heard.
I don't know, I like the zigzagler.
It's
the dilemma.
He does the famous. Ziggler does the famouser and the zigzag. Those are his two finishers.
No, I like mine.
But I wanted the only thing that's pretty much how I wanted Sting to show up. As I was telling you about this yesterday.
I mean, here's the thing: when they brought Sting back, and I was reading about this today, and it was a really good point. Is that they didn't change his character. Sting came in and did what he always does. It was consistent. But they didn't try to do what they did in TNA and turn him heel.
I wanted him to come down on the cable from the rafters, though. And I knew it wasn't going to happen, but it's what I wanted.
I kind of wish he had the baseball bat, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm so amazed that Sting is a face.
Oh, he is.
He's the
avenging angel of wrestling.
Yeah, he comes in and rights the wrongs.
Okay.
Did you show him that fucking Simpsons picture?
I did not. We'll show him that later.
It's a picture of it's from the Drederick Tatum episode.
Have you seen that episode? The one where Homer's boxing?
No. But it's just Drederick Tatum with a Triple H head posted over it, and then the Homer with Dolph Ziggler's face, and then Mo with the Sting face carrying him out of the ring.
Alrighty.
That's an amazing episode of The Simpsons.
It is.
If you only see one episode of The Simpsons, that's a good one to go for.
Time for speculation, or
speculation on the Raw GM, which by the time this show goes up, it's not going to be a mystery anymore. So I guess we probably should put it.
I mean, who knows if they're actually going to reveal a GM tonight?
I would love it to be Mick Foley.
I mean, I would say, what if they do Sting? But I mean, from what I heard, he left St. Louis last night.
Yeah.
So
I'm honestly, Bad News Barrett kind of hinted that it might.
Here's the thing: what I want them to do, and maybe they're kind of hinting toward it, is that there are going to be several players for it.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Like that. That's what I want. I want there to be, 3. Maybe even if Cena takes up the reins, like they hinted he would.
Yeah.
Just make it a plot where it's just like, no, someone else is gunning for that. Like I want this to be a power struggle.
Do you think we'll see Vince tonight? I didn't watch Vince McMahon Speaks last night. Did he have anything to say?
No, they didn't air it, as far as I'm aware.
Oh,
they didn't air it immediately after the pay-per-view.
That's nice.
And I heard they were going to air it at 1:45 once the replay ended, and I'm just like, fuck that. And I had heard that they also took that off.
Oh.
But if I'm wrong, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just like, I'm not staying up till quarter.
In that case, I don't think we're going to see Vince tonight.
Probably not.
I mean, maybe. Who knows?
He's old now. It's okay. He needs his beauty sleep.
I don't know. He was gorilla walking with some virility yesterday.
For almost 2 seconds.
Yeah.
He looks like an old man.
He's getting old, man.
And he does tend to fade out in the ring, and that's very weird for Vince. The idea that Vince McMahon is not the dominant presence in any room he's in.
70s now, though.
Yeah, I know, but Sting's 55, and he still managed to walk.
Ryan.
He's also 20 years younger.
We were looking up Sting. We were looking up Sting on Wikipedia yesterday to find out how old he was, and Ryan looked it up, and he told us that he was 63. And I'm like, that just can't live in a world where that's true.
You will very soon.
I know.
Assuming he doesn't die.
Hey, he looks like he's in a hell of a lot better shape than Hulk Hogan.
He's painted.
But other projections on the Stinger, though, is he going to be working some matches with Triple H perhaps soon in the future? And the other big rumor is him working a match with Undertaker at WrestleMania.
That's been a thing that's been floating around since he signed with the company.
I would be shocked if Undertaker came back.
Yeah, he didn't look great.
Yeah.
But I mean, here's the thing, though. I mean, I think he might have the one more match in him.
Yeah, especially if it's going to be two old guys, too.
Yeah, exactly. Hell, Ric Flair did some old man wrestling until recently.
Styling?
Profiling.
I think one thing we can say that's very likely is Triple H is getting back in that fucking ring at least sometime soon.
Oh,
yeah,
we've got
I
Sting,
hope so.
we've got Rock.
I would love to see Triple H...
What if he comes back and tries to re-seize power?
I would love to see Triple H return to active duty on the roster. Maybe not, wrestling every night, but to have him actually come out and get booked for some matches.
How much older is he than Kane?
Not much.
Not much.
Comparable age.
I mean, Kane is
this is the
out
other thing.
all the time.
Oh god, this is the other thing. I was saying this to Kyle yesterday. I want them to bring in CM Punk as the Raw GM and have him exact his revenge upon Triple H. Triple H, you will now have to wrestle Kane every night. And you will always lose.
Do we think we're going to see corporate Cena?
Doubtful. I think it could happen. Like if they were going to do a heel turn, they might go in that direction.
Yeah, I had a lot of
I don't think it's imminent, but I think it's something they have waiting in the wings.
I had a lot of disappointments in the build-up to Survivor Series. I was so pissed that there were only ever 2 teams. So I don't have a lot of faith in them cashing in on this new development in a way I want. But I'd at least like to see corporate Cena.
It'd be interesting. I want to see that nameplate.
I want to see business suit and jorts.
I want to see that.
I do too. No,
I want to see a red tie with his face on it.
Like really, really bad, like really high cut up on the thigh Bermuda shorts, and the knee socks to go with them.
Oh god, what if he just started wearing Hawaiian shirts all the time? I don't know why that thought is so funny to me.
From Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Any last words on the Survivor Series?
No, not really. I'm excited to watch tonight.
Me too. I am also excited to watch tonight.
2 divas kissed each other.
That did happen.
It did happen.
And we're done.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Let's talk about Fables. All Kyle,
okay.
Tell us about your experience with the Fables comic.
Well, number one, as you guys know, I did this after playing The Wolf Among Us. The Wolf Among Us. That's going to be the best game when we finally get Telltale to pay attention to us and get those Star Trek licenses. The Wolf Among Us is the first experience I had with Fables. I knew of it, but I'd never read it. I really liked The Wolf Among Us. Made me want to read the comics. Went through the first 3 volumes. It's really fucking good.
Yeah, I like the comics better than the video game.
I don't know if I'm far enough in them to really.
Yeah. Have you finished Volume 3 yet?
Yes, I did finish Volume 3.
Good. So we've all read that much at least.
Though you guys told me once I finished Volume 3, it'd be really obvious who the adversary is.
Yeah. I thought it was really obvious who the adversary is.
I didn't tell you that. I don't have the slightest clue who the adversary is.
It's either
maybe I'm drawing conclusions before I should.
Like the way they left it was third volume was March of the Wooden Soldiers.
Yeah.
And
Pinocchio
Pinocchio is convinced that Geppetto is being held in slavery, and I'm like, what if he's there willingly? And
that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that either Geppetto is the adversary, or he is willingly working for the adversary.
and I'm just like, I was thinking about what you said, that I'd know who it is, and I'm just like, either it's some fable or some story I've never heard of, and I'm not just picking up on the cues.
I thought they were making it really obvious that Geppetto maybe not was the adversary. Maybe I'll take a step back from that assertion since nobody else seemed to draw that conclusion. But
like I do the conclusion.
He's definitely a willing villain, though.
That's the thing I got from
When
it.
is like the flashback to the siege on the castle and the escape?
That is Volume 3, I believe.
Is it? Because you're talking about Geppetto, and I don't remember Geppetto at all.
He doesn't show up at all. It's just in March of the Wooden Soldiers, all the toy soldiers were made by Geppetto.
I don't actually remember March of the Wooden Soldiers, so maybe
maybe you didn't read Volume 3.
Yeah. Because the last thing I remember is the siege on the castle of Mention.
I could have been the end of Volume 2.
Yeah,
but with Boy Blue's story, and they have their own Remembrance Day.
Yeah,
that might be. I think that's Volume 2.
Yeah,
actually.
then I never read Volume 3. Is what it was.
Yeah, well, you can borrow it from. Well, Kyle still has it, but you can.
I need to borrow.
I think Laura has it.
Yeah, Laura has it. Right
the degree,
now.
the only story from those first 2, I guess, volumes that stood out to me was Animal Farm. That one was where that.
that was the first volume, right?
Yeah.
That was the first volume?
Yeah.
Fuck me. I guess I just staggered everything backwards.
Animal Farm is the second story in the first volume. The first one being the murder of Rose Red.
Okie doke.
That's you need to reread.
It was like 6 years ago.
Oh, I didn't realize that. All right, but enough to keep reading though. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to keep reading more.
I'm going to be. I know that our good buddy Matty G from the D&D podcast has, I think, up through volume 14. So we're gonna be able to read that again at some point. And he's totally not sitting quietly in the room right now either.
No, what are you talking about?
Listeners can't hear it, but he did just wave at the sound booth.
Just a little bit.
That's where he is, in the sound booth.
In the sound booth,
checking
we had
levels.
A sound booth. I can't wait to build that new studio. We're gonna be doing some heavy construction.
I don't know about build.
I can't wait to place sound equipment in your basement and leave it there.
I can't wait to hear the sound of beer being drunk and swears being said at all hours of the night as you hurt yourself.
Wow.
No, while constructing. I'm not saying.
Oh, while constructing. That's going to be me. Okay. I thought you were just saying I'm going to camp out in your basement and slowly drink myself to death.
While beating yourself upside the head with a hammer.
I do have a hammer.
I know.
All right. Anything else to say about the Fables, though? I'm curious. I'm personally curious about what you think about Snow White in the comic compared to Snow White in The Wolf Among Us.
Volume 1, she was definitely presented as more of a hard ass.
Yeah.
She's lightened up in parts 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm still having trouble merging the two characters.
Yeah.
The character from The Wolf Among Us and the character from Fables. Like I'm having trouble making them both coherent with one another.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of a disconnect there, and it's really, really strange because Bill Willingham did have a hand in working on The Wolf Among Us.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is it's just like, it's 20 years of Snow White hardening up.
Yeah, that's what I can think of. And
that's the only thing I can attribute.
The other thing that I really like about The Wolf Among Us, and I didn't realize till after I was done playing it, and it's like there's a reason why that game is so like so 80s, because that game totally takes place in the 80s.
Yeah.
And they don't
Did you see the size of Georgie's boombox?
Yeah, with like the boombox and the cars and the payphones.
Yep.
It's that game totally takes place in the 80s.
But where they leave Snow White in Wolf Among Us, is it possible? Like, are there events such that she would have hardened up as a reaction to
yes.
At the end of Wolf Among Us, she's just taken the reins as the deputy mayor.
Okay.
In truly in name.
I mean, the last comment we could put on Fables is, as far as I'm concerned, this is the best example of classic fairy tales being put in a comic format.
Oh, yeah.
Anything similar.
Absolutely.
Better than Grimm, way better than Once Upon a Time.
Way, way better than Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters. Actually, no, nothing was better than Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters.
I think it was better than...
Starring Peter Stormare
as
Peter Stormare.
It was better than the comic series Unwritten, which he later did a crossover with, and it was just so strange to see. It's like such inferior characters next to superior ones.
I want to see, and I'm going to completely ignore the thing you just said.
That's okay.
From now on,
everyone else did.
Other projects we're going to push for. We're going to have Telltale Games, The Wolf Among Us, and let's find a really, really... Let's find a director with some really, really low standards and get him to make the all Peter Stormare review starring Peter Stormare.
I'll get Asylum Pictures on the horn.
On the horn. Hashtag Peter Stormare.
Well, they don't have a horn. I'll get him on the cup with a string. Go on. I don't care for their films.
Let's talk about the drawing challenge from last week, and then we can pick a new one for this week. I got some pictures to show you, gentlemen. Stephen Winchell, our good friend of the show, Little Boys Room cartoonist, all-around cool guy,
and newly
total
corpse.
fucking asshole for flooding my inbox with dick pics this week. The theme this week, as chosen by our illustrious guest from last week, was dicks. And if you didn't feel like doing dicks, it was U.S. presidents. So
he drew dicks.
Everybody drew dicks. I tried to combine the themes a little bit. The stuff we had this week, it's cool. It's a little bit all over the place. We're going to start with mine. I drew a pair of Master Cylinder pants.
Good.
For containing your junk.
Good.
Made out of a can of Tack Wheel's Fat Black Beer. Featuring the smiling visage of one of America's greatest presidents, rapper Tack Wheel. Who made headlines, but not the good kind like you want.
And I completely forgot he was president in season 2.
Then we have Brendan Nicholas's submission of Solid Snake. Continuing the fictional presidents.
Portrait that.
Yeah, no, there's tons of dicks on this.
Yeah, it does look...
His shoulder pads are dicks.
I don't know why we can't...
It's loading. It's a big file.
It is a big file.
Throbbing file.
You can see it in the gallery tomorrow, but yeah, it's
shoulder pads are dicks.
They are dicks. I don't know if you meant to do that, Brendan, but you drew some dicks. Oh, they're everywhere. And he's holding 2 swords, very phallic, very dick-like.
Yeah, they are dick-like.
Swords just in general are phallic. Okay, then Laura Rice. I feel like Laura Rice did her submission in MS Paint this week. It's very Kate Beaton vibe I'm getting from this. It's our first president, George Washington, thinking about dicks. I hate this show so much.
To be fair,
I fucking quit.
You brought this on yourself.
I know.
To be fair, George Washington is only thinking of a tiny dick.
Yes, he is. You're right.
Like if we're looking at the distance from between head and ball sack. That is a juvenile penis.
Just for babies.
Move to the next picture.
Moving on! Mr. Stephen Winchell presents us with a deer with dick antlers. Just like he said he would do.
He's
Fuck
a man
you,
of his
Steve.
word.
Shots fired.
Is that a 10-point buck?
That is a 10-point dick. 10-inch buck.
Big cock deer.
Big cock deer. And that's a podcast title for
Stop it!
Yes.
You cannot upload Big Cock Deer to iTunes.
And then the piece de resistance, Mr. Zach Semantic with his first submission to our podcast.
And
he
last.
actually gave us the original artwork for this because his girlfriend would not let him keep it in the apartment. For good reason. The gallery this week is going to be so not safe for work, and I don't know how I'm going to present it yet, but I will get you all these dicks in all their glory.
In all your
Here
holes.
we have President Richard Nixon with nothing left to lose, wearing a garter belt with a huge penis.
God, yeah,
there he is.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Uncle Mo, here I am.
Thank you.
Such a fucking
This will be a treat.
thicket.
I didn't notice this before. He's got a wristwatch on, too.
Oh, okay.
Those are the things he felt were necessary to wear. Thigh-high stockings and a garter belt and a wristwatch.
And a baseball bat.
Well,
I'm pretty sure...
Nothing left to lose. Dick Nixon.
I'm pretty sure this is originally from, he's bestride the Panama Canal, keeping out the Reds.
That's how it works.
With his big club.
I believe
Can
the
you
title
take
of this
this off
piece...
the screen, please?
I'm sorry. I believe the title of this piece is Tricky Dick. I believe that's how it came to me. Anyways. So that happened.
And we'll continue.
Hey, let's have a theme this week where I don't have to draw penises.
Okay.
No. Van braces. Van braces.
I don't know what those are and therefore refuse to draw them.
What is our theme this week, gentlemen?
It's your job to come up with it, dickhole.
It is?
Yes, most of the time.
Oh, I actually had a good idea. Now I can't remember what it was. Oh, I know. I remember. I had a good idea. Alter egos.
Okay.
And essentially is, find a character that you like in any sort of fiction, or even non-fiction, and draw their alter ego. So, for a very bland example, Batman and Bruce Wayne. But get more creative than that. And you can draw both or one of the egos that this character may have. But yeah, alter egos is a theme that I like. Do you guys...
Bonus points if you draw the 3 faces of Foley.
Ooh. I could do that.
Yeah.
I could do that. That's not what I had in mind, but I could do that.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, you heard us. The theme this week is personas. Draw someone.
That's
and
not
their
what it is.
persona.
That's not what it is. That's not the theme. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to this man. He's a bad man.
Someone draws Susan LL.
Oh, no.
No!
Somebody draw Mick Foley and his persona. I will give you so
Sacco?
many Hell to Breakfast points.
If Mick Foley has a persona, it's Sacco.
Yeah.
But it has to be like anime Sacco.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be the full S-Link Mick Foley Sacco.
Mandible Craw! I'm still going to hell. Alright.
Nothing you've done tonight would stop that.
Alter egos. It's the reason we call this the Hell to Breakfast show. Because...
We're having hell for breakfast.
Hell for breakfast. Anyways, serious business time one more time before we run down the hit list. Don't forget to check us out on iTunes. Subscribe to the RSS feed. You can get all of these links from our handy-dandy webpage. Blah, blah, blah. Please listen to the show. We appreciate everyone listening to the show. Don't be afraid to write into helltopodcast@gmail.com and tell Ryan how much you hate him. Don't forget to patronize us patroningly on the Patreon money, please. We're paying money for hosting now for the audio, and it's
no longer going to Pilsner.
It is probably the largest expense that the enterprise currently has right now, and it's the kind of situation where every dollar really helps. And you can keep us going and keep us talking about this nonsensical schlock on a weekly basis. So we really appreciate everything you do for us. And if this is the kind of thing you're interested in, well, God bless you, because you're one of the proud and the few. Don't forget to check us out on the social medias. You know what they are. Google that shit. That's true shit. And now let's talk about the hit list. Ryan, what are you doing this week?
Why do we always do me first?
I don't know, because it gives me time to think.
Because we know you've got yours prepared.
Yeah, I do. That's not the right piece of paper. I should have them in my head, but sometimes I get tired, which is all the time. Death might be coming for me. Anyway, this
right
week...
behind you.
Yeah. For
the guise of a burly Polish gentleman.
For read this week, it popped up on a digital Kindle, Amazon comic book sale, what have you. Mm-hmm. We've already done something a little bit like this, as in we've seen this author put in a comic form before.
Oh, is it not good?
It's Stephen King.
Oh, it's not going to be good.
I'm doing Volume 1 of The Dark Tower.
Oh, it's not going to be good.
It's going to be so terrible.
The comic?
The comic of The Dark Tower, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back next week to tell you how much
It's not going to be great.
How much shit
It's not going to be great. Calling it now.
For Watch, I'm going to be picking up all 13... Or picking up. I'll be viewing, illicitly... all 13 episodes of Space Dandy, which is the show that the...
Was that season only 13 episodes?
Yes, it was.
Huh.
I do that myself.
I need to catch it, too. I watched, the first 3 or 4.
For those who don't know, Space Dandy is the show that the Cowboy Bebop people did after they stopped bebopping cowboys. And
Samuraiing Champloo's.
Yeah, don't care.
You should. That's a good show.
I should.
Samurai Champloo's good.
There's a lot of things I should care about, but don't, like Sting. And for play...
Sting!
For play...
I'm going to give you the Scorpion Death Drop as soon as this podcast is over.
Oh, thank God. Sweet release. Last but not least, for play, I've been threatening it for weeks upon weeks. I will be picking up Right v Layton on the Nintendo 3DS. So look forward to me bitching about that next week.
Look forward to a play-by-play of every scene from Wright vs. Layton next week on the show.
Someday I'll kill you and just talk about Phoenix Wright, Layton, and Persona all night.
And then Kyle
7 nights a week.
And then Kyle will give you the Scorpion Death Drop.
Somebody's
gonna. Or at least hit you with a baseball bat.
Somebody email the Scorpion Death Drop to helltopodcast@gmail.com.
Teach me how to do the Scorpion Death Drop. Email your how-to video to fuck it. Kyle, what are you doing this week?
Well, I want to finish Metroid Prime 2. I have to figure I'm about halfway through that game at least. Well, I'm gonna read the next. I may get to the next volume of Fables this week.
Okay.
I don't know if I have a third item.
Do you got anything to watch? You're gonna watch Space Dandy with me.
I could watch some Space Dandy.
Alright, you want to try for that?
Yeah, sure.
Alright.
I will try to also watch some Space Dandy.
No, you don't. You're not allowed.
Fuck you.
Okay.
I'll try to also watch some Space Dandy. I'm also going to keep watching Star Trek: The Original Series and hopefully get to the second season where Mirror Mirror is. That's what I'm looking forward to. And
it's the one thing keeping him going.
It's the one thing keeping me going. I would, and for play this week. For read this week, I'll juggle those two watch things. For read this week, I'm going to probably read Baltimore Volume 2 and keep that going. And then for play this week, I would like to try and start up another playthrough of Planescape Torment. That's quite an undertaking, so I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll see.
Do you have it?
I do.
Okay.
I have the good old game. I actually have it on the original 4-disc CD set, and I also have it from Good Old Games. So
it is it won't be by the time this goes up, but for the gentleman in the room, Planescape Torment is currently on sale on Good Old Games.
Is it? I'll have to pick it up.
Worth the price.
I will play it eventually.
It's $3.99 if you buy just that, and it's like $21.60 if you buy it with 9 other D&D games. Like that's the price of the package.
Holy fuck!
That is one of the best narrative and emotional game experiences ever.
Nope, Tomb Raider and the Guardian of Light.
Totek and the Totek of Totek.
Just love me, Totek, just one more time.
Hit me, Totek, one more time. But no, Torment is super duper good, and I look forward to. It'd be nice if we could all try to play it at some point, so we could talk about it on the podcast. It's the kind of thing that I don't want to spend a whole lot of time like explaining Torment, but I think it'd be cool if we could talk about that.
We can certainly give it a shot.
Yeah. Anyways, that's the hit list for this week.
I believe that means that's us for this week.
That's us for this week. We're just gonna peter out into oblivion and go draw more dicks, because now I'm addicted. I'm a dick, Ted.
We now leave you with the sweet sounds of Cat Stevens. You're gonna splice in another Saturday night after this, right?
Oh, always.
Because we have to pay Mike Rasmus every time we use that song.
We're gonna get so sued.
By Cat Stevens?
Cat Stevens.
He's dead.
He's a ghost.
No. Ghosts can't
rise
sue.
up from the grave. Strike at thee.
But he ain't got nobody.
Give you the scorpion death drop.
He's got some money because he just
Good
got
night.
money.
Oh,